Today on City Wrestling Radio, Samoa Joe has been crowned the king of television as he regained the TNT title on AEW Dynamite. Kota Ibushi is now a free agent. We're going to discuss the possible future for the former IWGP champion, and NXT Vengeance Day is this weekend. We're going to run down that card. All of this and more on City Wrestling Radio.
Give me a hell yeah!
Hello there and welcome back to another edition of City Wrestling Radio. I'm your host, Korey Smith, being joined today by my co-host, the man with the plan. We're going to go with this week because
why not?
We're still working on it. Mr.
Workshop.
Michael Vergara.
Hey, how's it going, Korey?
Good. How are you today, sir?
Same as always, man.
Another day in paradise. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, let's get right into it. Before we get started, though, I think we do kind of have to mention because this week we saw on Thursday the passing of the genius, leaping Lanny Poffo. The WWE Hall of Famer, the genius, has passed away. Poffo's passing was announced by Hacksaw Jim Duggan on social media on Thursday. He said, quote, "With a very, very heavy heart, I've been asked to let everyone know about the passing of our friend and colleague, Lanny Poffo, the genius." Hacksaw did say this all originally on Instagram, but it got posted to all of his other social media. Poffo made his in-ring debut for All South Wrestling Alliance in 1974 before joining multiple promotions affiliated with the NWA, where he won the Tag Team Championship alongside his father, Angelo Poffo. In 1985, Poffo then joined the WWF as Leaping Lanny Poffo. This is, when I thought about this, I remembered him because he did the whole like throwing frisbees around, and I was like, oh, I vaguely remember that.
He was the frisbee guy.
The frisbee guy, yeah. Later becoming the genius, Poffo competed against such names as Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, which he did defeat Hogan on an episode of Saturday Night Main Event at one point.
Not a lot of people can make that claim.
So, and outside of wrestling, Poffo also wrote several books, including a variety of poems and limericks and such.
Just committing to the bit, really just committing to that bit that has carried him forward. But yeah.
And he also did a lot of commentary later, doing some stuff for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I remember was it 2016, 2017?
Yeah, there was Chris Charlton. He posted on his Twitter him literally on the booth with one Lanny Poffo, and like he was showing a ring and very sentimental celebration of the genius's life, leaping Lanny Poffo.
Yeah. I mean, I think you and I are a little bit younger. I mean, we're both very, very young. I like to think of myself as the youngest guy here at City Wrestling Radio, just by that much. But we're both kind of raised on the Attitude Era, and you're more of a Ruthless Aggression, more so.
I mean, yeah.
But
I only really watched wrestling when Spike TV reached San Francisco, which was kind of a long time coming.
But do you remember any Lanny Poffo, the genius, or anything?
I would only learn of Lanny Poffo through like retrospectives of like wrestling's past, and they would kind of trot out like the old wrestlers, like he would be right up there with your IRSs or your fucking Hacksaw Jim Duggans, where they would just trot out these like heavily gimmicked old school wrestlers, just have them say their catchphrase or do their thing for about like 30 seconds, and I mean, I know this isn't like the ideal eulogy to say for leaping Lanny Poffo.
We're being honest, though. I mean,
oh yeah, no, just for the matter of transparency. But like that guy, he really had a commanding voice. He would always talk like this all the time. He would always say things with rhymes, and for the longest time, ever since the passing of Macho, also with the passing of his brother Randy Savage, he was always more or less the ambassador of his legacy as well. So not only do we lose Lanny Poffo, we kind of just lose that too. And if we're for the second week straight, as we're talking about the passing of one wrestler, related, you kind of have that sort of connection with the Briscoe brothers, where you losing a brother, and now in a bittersweet kind of way, you can kind of take solace in the fact that, Lanny Poffo is reunited with his brother, the Macho Man, and all that. All with all sentimentalities going in with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
cream of the crop. But ultimately, Lanny Poffo was his own person, was his own man. He did his out of all those gimmicked wrestlers with the whole genius wearing the cap and gown. Like, he was thoroughly entertaining in it,
Yeah.
and he wore it on his sleeve. Rest in
Yeah.
peace, Lanny Poffo.
68
68.
years old. Yeah. No cause of death at this point. Condolences to the friends, family, and fans of one Lenny Poffo. So let's move on to what we usually talk about on a Thursday. So AEW Dynamite this week kicked off with John Moxley defeating. Well, let's talk about the main thing that happened first. Like I was talking about the end of the show, or the beginning of the show. Samoa Joe has regained the TNT title after defeating Darby Allin. Because that was the main takeaway of the show, at least in my opinion. Uh, I don't know. What do you think of this, Michael?
I think they are just trying to add a little bit of spontaneity with the TNT title, which with a title in AEW that you normally wouldn't get from your AEW title.
Yeah.
And you would like they're obviously just trying to build up TNT title as something that could be easily lost in your average Dynamite, and you get to have the novelty of I was there once they changed when the title changed hands, or like, oh, a Dynamite where a title changed hands. And
But
you
was
could definitely run into some diminishing returns if you do it too often. But I do think in the context of the match between Samoa Joe and Darby Allin, which was fucking incredible. I mean, I felt
oh
like the
yeah,
logical conclusion was for Samoa Joe to regain that title.
yeah. I mean,
Incredible match, though, man. I
at
really
least
love that match.
in my personal opinion, I was kind of hoping for Darby to pull through and leading to building up of Hobbs at AEW Revolution. But I think we're now back at this same spot again, where we're at Wardlow and Joe again. And it's like, I feel like this TNT title, it was built as this workhorse title for a long time. And now they're kind of switching gears to this, like you said, this spontaneous title change kind of title. And to me, it's like, okay, it doesn't make any sense to me for
I
that
mean,
title.
it's a title match. Person takes a shot on the line. You either win or you lose. And in this case, Darby Allin lost.
First off, Darby should have been DQ'd. Like the second that he
This is a
ran into.
no holds barred match, dude.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then I misread the room. Then okay, I'm sorry. But nonetheless, yeah. So now it's leading to Wardlow and Joe. But yeah, I guess we'll see where.
Well, with a haircut, by the way, he looks 1,000 times better.
I do love that green suit he was wearing. That skin tight velvet green suit.
It was made to be ripped apart. I mean,
Yes,
he
it
was
was.
again. It was green as the Hulk. Maybe
It
that
was
was a bit
made
too
to.
on the nose.
Yeah, it was made to pop off of him, like rip off of him as soon as he flexes.
Yeah.
Okay. But we kicked the show off with John Moxley with his dad defeating Hangman Page. This was a great match.
He held no resemblance to Moxley. If you told me that was just a dude, like, he looked nothing like. You were to guess out of
Dan
everybody,
Moxley.
if you were to guess everybody in the roster is like, whose dad is this? I think John Moxley would be like your 20th answer.
Well, it's funny because he definitely came down. He was working security for Moxley because he was looking at everyone like, you better back up. All right. Don't.
Like, I get, kind of see it though. You can kind of see it.
Maybe a little bit, but
I
he
need
came
to
out to
find
the
a
ring
picture of it again.
with his dad. I guess they were like, what, 10, 12 miles away from where Moxley's hometown. So,
Yeah.
Also they announced this week that they'll be doing house shows soon.
Okay.
So I don't have that.
What's your take on that? Like, what do you think how do you think this is going to affect like the main roster in general? Like, okay, let me try to frame this another way. How do you think someone like a Jade Cargill would benefit from a house shows from a touring house show, or somebody who actually needs reps, or somebody who like any new like shining prospect talent?
I mean,
Because to
yeah.
me, because that is like I'm answering my own question. That is the way I see how this could potentially benefit the company.
I mean, absolutely. The people like Jade Cargill, even like Red Velvet, they can get a ton more reps in. I mean, what they're saying, Jade is 50-0 in her entire career. And I'm like, you've had 50 matches, which I know is, it's a worked number. But at the same time, would it make sense for the company to do that? To do a touring house show loop.
It's also another. It's an added revenue to the company as well. Like there are many multiple, and I know it was sort of a financial loser for the WWE's point of view, but I could honestly see this benefit AEW. I think it brings a more audience, like a lot
Mhm.
more people who probably don't know what AEW is in smaller markets would probably just like, what is this? Oh, this is pretty cool. And also you could also have one of those like you could also have like a viral moments within a match. Like what if there's just like this, what they need to do
Yeah.
for this to work is
Tell me.
to treat it like an episode of Dynamite. These guys have to work. And I know it's not the smartest way to maintain your body. The amount of reports that we hear about someone getting injured in house shows, but like
Yeah.
you guys have to you have to kick the doors down and like do really really good matches if you want this to make sense. Which it's a risk.
And
It's
that
definitely
being said, it's going to be like a whole experience. Like it's going to have other events associated around it, kind of like I don't know if like a fan fest or like whatever it is. You know what I mean? Something like that to
yeah.
not just have a show, but have other things going on with it. So, I mean, it'll be fun. I don't see it.
I think the
Maybe,
first did they announce like what the first show would be? It was like somewhere where Moxley's
yeah.
from, right?
Was it Troy, Ohio, March 18th, I believe?
Okay.
That's the date I have off the top of my head. I'm gonna pull up our Instagram because that's where you get all your latest news on our Instagram at CWR415. Yes, March 14th, Troy, Ohio. It's gonna be featuring John Moxley, Orange Cassidy, Britt Baker, and others. Many, many more.
Cool.
My favorite.
Cool.
But speaking of Moxley, he did defeat Hangman Page after Hangman Page went for the rear naked choke and Mox rolled him up for a pin. The fight continued afterwards until Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta came off to separate the two. Now, Michael, here's my question. And this is just what I was thinking when I was watching this, because this seems exactly like how they built John Moxley and Bryan Danielson becoming the Blackpool Combat Club. And now Hangman Page is working this new Blackpool Combat Club style. Do you think we could see a new member to the Blackpool Combat Club?
I kind of saw that style as a way of mocking Moxley.
Yeah.
Like he just resents this entire shtick that he has going forward with him as this like tough guy when and the Hangman just thinks, oh, you're not so tough, you're not so bad. Look at this. I'm gonna do the same shit that you do, but then I'm gonna be more effective, and I'm gonna give Wheeler Yuta the Death Rider when
Yeah.
on last week's Rampage. Well, first of all, again, this match was incredible.
Yeah.
I thought these Hangman and Moxley have tremendous chemistry, and the way that this match was booked, we're probably going to see this, Korey. We're probably going to see this again. You and I live.
I hope so. That's the thing is when I heard the third match was going to happen on AEW Dynamite, I was kind of like, shit. We're not going to see it live. Hit a deal with an hour-long Bryan Danielson match.
You think it's going to be a no-holds exploding barbed wire death match? We're all going to die in Chase Center.
They already did Last Man Standing, right?
No. They haven't done Last Man Standing. But then do we really need another gimmick match?
I want an exploding death wire match now that you mentioned it.
Barbed wire? Yeah, and they're going to double down and kill everyone in that building because they didn't put enough explosions.
They put too many explosions.
Yeah. Jesus.
Fucking Tony Khan just goes all for it.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we get a Darby Joe hype package. The Bunny.
Oh, wait, no, to answer your question, teasing a possible new member, I think I already did answer this, and I say no.
No,
I do not think so. In fact, I feel like they're losing members. Like, where the fuck was Danielson? Where the hell is Danielson in this whole?
He's busy.
Yeah, he's busy.
He's busy. He's doing.
Also, I'm also just kind of whatever about Blackpool Combat Club since the Blackpool is gone. The Blackpool part of it is theoretically gone from the company. We'll
They
see. We'll see how much longer, but
they still like Blackpool. They've been to Blackpool before. They still have admiration for the town. That's fine.
yeah.
Well, like I said, Darby Joe High Package Bunny challenges Hater for a title eliminator match. I believe next week. So yeah, that's a match we're gonna see. Saraya and Tony Storm beat down on Britt Baker in the back while this is going on a video camera. Like it just cuts like they have a full setup to where the TV behind them just
It's like the
cuts.
TV behind me. What if I just like, oh wait, hold on. Can we get this? Can we get this?
Like, oh my
And so I
god,
point to the camera, and it's like somebody robbing your house or something.
yeah,
Corey.
exactly. Or like a just food being delivered to your house right there.
Didn't
It's
really
like,
make sense.
gotta
Didn't
go.
really make sense.
No.
But I guess they just needed a reason to show what they had to show. I mean, they could have just. Did they really just have to like have a justification to show that? Like, couldn't they just cut to the next? I mean, you needed Jamie Hayter to find. You needed to find a way to get Jamie Hayter out of that scene and like run to wherever
And get Britt
Britt Baker-
pissed. Yeah, we have to piss Britt off. That's I think that whole point of
That's the
this.
key to all this.
That's the key. Next up, the Acclaim defeated a couple of jobbers. I did not get their names. I know they said them. I just they were good jobbers. They had a good gimmick. 80s retro old guys. I don't know.
They just wanted a claim to wrestle because we know like they haven't wrestled in a while. They are your tag team champions. They've just been in like these like talking segments, even though we rarely ever see them wrestle anymore. I mean, on an odd Rampage, one or two, but no one really watches those.
And then afterwards, we get the Guns, Colton and I want to say Clayton. It's not Clayton. Colton Gunn and
Austin Gunn.
There we go. They come out to the ring and they said, last week we said what we wanted. What's going to make us happy are those tag titles. That's when the Acclaim, the Guns, they brawl. Daddy Ass, he's had enough, and it was very like off the mic. I've had enough of this. I'm leaving.
Well, because the microphones kept on breaking.
Oh, is that okay?
Like they gave Billy Gunn a mic and it was just and then it disconnected again and they just threw it to the ground. AEW having a pretty bad spell of technical problems with their microphones. I must say.
We're out here, Tony. If you need a couple of good guys trained at the fabulous BEMA department at City College of San Francisco, we're your boys. But no, here we go. See, Billy Gunn leaves, and then that's when was it Colton Gunn? Probably Austin. I don't know. One of the Guns teases, or at least says, yeah, why don't you walk out on us and bury your face in a bottle of pills like you did when we were kids. And Billy Gunn comes back in the ring and says, you want a match next week? You're on. And
he decided that for them.
It was kind of,
and then they were kind of confused too, and I was confused. Like, you're making this decision? God, this might end up. I mean, like, they're probably teasing a Billy Gunn turn, against the Acclaimed, and I don't know. I feel like this ship is kind of sailed.
We don't. Opinion. What the Daddy Ass?
Yeah.
I was just hoping we get some Daddy Ass action in San Francisco. That's all. But I mean, I get it. I agree with you on that point, but we also haven't had a whole lot of swerves in AEW. What if he doesn't? What if he just comes out to the ring and prevents the Guns from cheating? And like, this is a lesson for the Acclaimed or like his adopted sons. So, I couldn't raise them right. Now I'll raise you right. Kind of situation.
His actual sons?
No, yeah, he couldn't raise his actual sons right. So he's going to raise the Acclaimed right, which is a fun story. I don't know.
It's just not as, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jungle Boy teases a singles run coming up, saying Jungle Hook is done, and he wants some singles gold. That'd be cool. I don't know. Jungle Boy going forward.
He's going for the FTW title.
You think so? Oh, I don't know.
It'd be kind of exciting. It'd be kind of exciting if he just kind of just, I'm just gonna. My name is Jungle Jack. I don't know why he sounds like that.
He's probably
he's going for a title, and it's gonna be this title.
Yeah, he sounds just like Gerald Briscoe. Next up, we had Konosuke Takeshita defeating Brian Cage with the running knee. I mean, it's a great match. Konosuke Takeshita is a great performer. They're really pushing him to the stars in this company. And I think like I said before, he is going to be the one to eventually take that title off MJF.
Takeshita?
Yes.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about
Not right now. Not right now, but they're putting the seeds in there, just like AEW. They'll come back to it in a year saying, I failed last time, but this time I'm ready to challenge MJF.
I
In
think
a
it's
year-long
more.
time frame.
I think it's more likely that Takeshita wins against MJF next week than he would be taking the title off of him. I think there's gonna be like I think Takeshita beats him on. I think Takeshita beats him on next week on Dynamite, but then MJF wins the title match to the build of to the build where he faces Danielson.
We just get to Konosuke Takeshita versus Bryan Danielson for the title at Revolution. It's nothing. No, that's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think eventually, in a year from now, after a long title reign from MJF, there's like I said, sowing the seeds of the Takeshita title.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think that MJF title reign is gonna be shorter than people are gonna think it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the bidding war of 2024, knowing what 2024 is possibly going to look like for WWE. I don't know. I'm willing to hitch my wagon. Let me just turn this around. I'm willing to hitch my wagon with the fact that MJF's title reign is going to be shorter than most people expect. It's not going to, I think he's going to lose it by summer. I think Double or Nothing would be the place to lose it in.
I mean, it could be.
Or Revolution.
Next up, we had the Jericho Appreciation Society with Renee Paquette backstage. And so Ricky Starks wants a match against Chris Jericho again, but because he's already lost to him, they said he has to go through a series of matches, which is called, was it the Garcia Guevara Gauntlet Challenge? Am I right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. To which he has to defeat both Daddy Magic, Cool Hand Ange, and then either Garcia or Guevara. Then he gets a match with Chris Jericho. So, I mean, whatever. It'll be fun. The one thing about this segment, which I thought would have been a little bit funnier, and this is just me nitpicking.
Yeah.
Is if they had graphics on the screen to explain the rules of this, like WWE does, like for the Royal Rumble, like every 10 minutes.
There's not enough time on television to fucking explain this, dude. It's just here's some matches you're gonna,
yeah, But like I said, just throw a graphic up, just as long when he's reading along. But that's just nitpicky. It was great. Then we have the Firm challenging the Elite at a basketball court of some sort in Ohio, I guess. I don't know.
They like basketball.
Yeah,
they came out as the Chicago Bulls that one time.
No, it was the
Toon Squad.
Yeah, there we go. Next up, Bryan Danielson defeated Timothy Thatcher. This is technical, as the kids say, technical AF. Yeah, yep. Yeah. There was a ref bump in the match. MJF came out to the ring. Takeshita thwarts MJF as distraction. Danielson hits the running knee and pins Thatcher. So Michael, did you just love this match? I feel like this had you written all over it.
How dare you? It's a good match. It's just, I mean, like,
you're a Thatcher fan. You're a Danielson fan.
I mean, I love Danielson more than I love Thatcher. It's definitely someone's cup of tea. Like, I just thought of it as like some sort of, I just thought of it as some kind of a flavor of a match that you normally just don't see in national television. As far as what I thought of the match between those two is concerned, I thought it was fine. Yeah. Nothing really. I mean, again, though, both of those guys, like their main pastiche, their main their what do you call it? Their X factor. Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll just call it that.
Intangible.
Yeah, their intangible is that they just get the fundamentals right, and that's what that match kind of was, like, just these two guys getting their fundamental wrestling technique in with each other, and I like that. It's not necessarily my favorite style of wrestling. The more flips, the better, in my opinion. Nope. Ospreay Omega, this was not.
No.
So, but as far as the television match, it was fine. It wasn't even. I don't even think it was the best match on the show. But it's
Uh,
good to see Timothy Thatcher on AEW Dynamite, and for him to wrestle somebody like Danielson. It's
ne-
exactly what it was.
Next up, Swerve is backstage. He is, I guess, targeting Brian Pillman Jr. because he's a second generation superstar.
Trench.
And
They
yeah,
identified the tattooed man.
he has
The
been
Florida
named.
man. I still call him Florida man, but they gave him a name, and it's Trench.
Well, it should be Florida Man Trench.
Florida man Trench is pretty good. Pretty
I'm
good.
just saying. That's his
Good
name.
Lord.
Where is he
Good
from?
Lord.
Where
Florida?
is he? Is he really? I
I
don't
don't
know.
fucking know, dude.
I don't know. To me, where the fuck is this guy? That's all. Next up, Jade Cargill defeats Red Velvet to become to retain the TBS title, and her win streak goes up from 49-0 to 50-0. I mean, where are they going? Where are they going, man?
I haven't even seen Keith Lee in a while. Where's Keith Lee? I mean, he's obviously selling that cinder block spot off the stairs, which is a ridiculous ass sentence, but I would imagine the pay-per-view would be Keith Lee versus Swerve, and
Oh,
then
I
I
thought
think
you. I thought you were gonna say against Jade Cargill. That's what I was saying.
what?
I moved on, and you were still thinking about Swerve.
Oh,
I was like Keith Lee versus Jade. That's it's quite a match, Michael.
I got a brain fart from there. Yeah, Jade Cargill. Yeah. That's an even bigger blank. You know? I think I honestly feel like they made a big deal about the whole 50-0 thing just so they can make her. They're trying to babyface her with that record, just by giving her like the whole unstoppable, unbeatable babyface now. Like, oh, she's kind of walking her talk right now. Who's actually going to beat her? And I don't know. I really don't know who else it would be. Statlander is well. I don't think she's. I think she's too injured still.
I feel like Jade is like she's
in her own island, dude.
She's like she's the top woman of the company right now. I mean, at least in my opinion. I know Jamie Hayter is the champion, but Jade is she's the more marketable. She's like the more well-known. I think more people have eyes on her than Jamie Hayter. I don't know. That's just what I think, but to each their own.
Yeah.
And then the main event, Darby Allin.
Yeah. We talked about this. We started off with the top. We started with this at the top of the show,
and we talked about it already. So, like I said,
great match.
Joe defeat Darby Allin with the Muscle Buster after the ring mat was pulled up at the exposed 2x4s or 4x4s, whatever they used to build that ring, and hits the Muscle Buster, pin, win, declared, like I said, the king of television. After this, Wardlow comes out to the ring with that fancy new hairdo, tries to go for the powerbomb symphony on Joe. Joe rolls out, and that is that. Looks like that will be I'm guessing that'll be the match at Revolution. I mean, yeah.
Seems like it. It's the obvious point. It's the one. He was a former TNT champion going after the current TNT champion. What could go wrong?
Who just defeated the former, who was also a former. It just seems like a circle of TNT champions now.
I fucking loved the very last second of Dynamite where like Wardlow had a security guard like up in there, like they got the little fucking copyright on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's like, we will be here on Rampage, and oh my god, Wardlow, as he like fucking throws a guy out of the ring. Like, you could not get better timing from that.
He's probably taking a page out of Brock Lesnar's book from the Rumble. Going off script. He got heat.
Did you hear, like, what is there more to that? Like, I only heard that like at face value. Like, what actually happened there?
That's what all I heard is the scene where he, I guess, took one of the refs and like held him up to the side, and that wasn't planned, and he got heat backstage for it. I don't know. I in my opinion, I think this is just Brock was working in Vince's WWE to where this isn't. I mean, Vince is still owning it, but things are changing in WWE despite Vince still being in charge. Like, that kind of stuff's not going to fly. And if that's what really happened, then, there you go.
They might have bigger plans for Darby. We don't know that.
Darby? What? Oh, yeah. Wardlow. Okay. Next up, a little bit more that was AEW Dynamite. We're going to talk a little bit more about AEW
Pretty good show.
because it was a good show. Good show. AEW, the AEW Network? Question mark? I don't know. So, in a recent interview with Bloomberg, AEW CEO Tony Khan made mention of the company starting a streaming service. The article was quoted in saying, AEW is also considering starting a streaming service, likely through a deal with its broadcast partner, Warner Brothers Discovery Inc. According to a person familiar with management's thinking, who is asked not to be named. So, this is Bloomberg. So, I mean, they are a reputable source. It's not, you know, slamdown.com. We got
What?
the cover making its debut this week. And then so one thing I do want to mention, you're kind of peeking it a little bit,
Yeah,
is
go ahead.
the international cover to this Bloomberg Business Week art magazine is Tony Khan, and I'll put it up there in full value. Illustrated running down to the ring with a very extended torso. And
It's like they just honestly, it just looked like an AI generated picture. Like someone just typed on a fucking toolbar saying, Ultimate Warrior, Nick Khan. Oh no, not Nick Khan, Tony Khan, wrestler. And this is what came up.
And then they put the clip art of the AEW title over it at the waist.
Yeah, that's the easy part.
I mean, Chat GPT, man, it's used for everything now. I'd probably start using it to write scripts, but no, like that was ridiculous. First off, it looked like one of those old Game Pro covers from back in the day.
Give them all the steroids.
Yeah. I'm waiting to make like I said earlier, this new CWR t-shirt. It's coming. It's coming. But Tony Khan did start or talk in the interview mentioning the streaming service. So what do you think could be in the works, and how do you think this could be doable, Michael? Like, would you pay for an AEW network? How many services are we going to pay for? I mean, I guess we don't pay for the WWE network. You have Xfinity or?
Oh yeah, the cock, brother.
Yeah, the peacock. So I guess we don't pay for that already.
So the thing is, what I do pay for in AEW is, well, I use a VPN. I go on Fight.
Yeah.
I pay AEW Plus so I can get them live, so I can watch my Dynamites at 5 p.m. And just so I can, go to work and without, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it was like $6 a month. It was like $6 a month, and I do believe that's legitimately worth it. Now, as far as this deal is concerned, there hasn't been any real concrete details on whether or not you'll be able to. I doubt you'll be able to have access to Dynamite as it's live because they got television rights and all that hubbub. But I do wish there would be like a day after video on demand service, or just plop in all the Dynamites from a certain time period and all the pay-per-views that they have. What they could do is like still charge for the pay-per-views, but then have their back catalog into some streaming service, and I'll still accept it.
Yeah,
maybe because I'm just so much of a mark.
I mean, I would accept it.
This is how big of a mark I am right now.
But I would personally, hope for some sort of discount on the pay-per-views if you have the streaming service.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be great.
Yeah, that would just be my number one thing, and I don't want to see the streaming service cost more than $10 a month.
Nuh-uh. You will not pay over $10 a month for AEW, Korey.
Thank you.
This is really good for actual podcast listener.
Well, I mean, they should. They're listening on the podcast on the go, and we get that. That's why we make this podcast, like we always have. But one day they're going to sit down. They're going to want to watch the full length video on YouTube.com/City Wrestling Radio. Or
all right, say goodbye to Ultimate Tony.
Bye, Ultimate Tony.
Bye.
All right. Next up, speaking of, I don't know, wrestlers, Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, no, this is a wrestling show. We talk about wrestlers.
Yeah. So earlier this week, New Japan Pro Wrestling announced the departure of Kota Ibushi from the company.
They wished him the best of his future endeavors.
They said with the conclusion of his contract period on January 31st, 2023, which, first off, I remember them saying lifetime contract a couple years ago. I'm just saying.
A wrestling promotion lying? How dare you?
Well, I mean, I guess a wrestler's lifetime to them is what? 7 years, 6 years. Kota Ibushi has departed New Japan Pro Wrestling. Ibushi has been recovering from injury since October 2021. We apologize to Ibushi's fans for the abrupt announcement and join them in wishing Ibushi the very best in his future endeavors. So that same day, Kota then went to his Twitter and he announced he would be returning to the ring WrestleMania weekend. That's right, for GCW, not WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I saw
yeah.
GCW and Bloodsport. I'm excited. Don't get me wrong.
Against one speedball Mike Bailey, because I feel like that's just your default whenever you just kind of once you leave a company and just get and you hit it big.
Well,
You're gonna wrestle speedball Mike Bailey.
He's the top guy
No
who's
disrespect to
traveling
Speedball.
he's the top guy traveling the independent scene right now.
He's probably like the last true independent wrestler out there. I mean, in all due respect to everybody else out there.
It's a new wave.
He's kind of the independent ace right now.
Eventually, you're going to see guys like Titus Alexander come up even more, and he's, like I said, PWG. But nonetheless, Kota Ibushi at GCW and Bloodsport. So these are both semi-high profile shows. I'm not going to say as high profile as WrestleMania because they're not. But it begs the question, where is the former IWGP champion and one half of the Golden Lovers going to end up signing? Many would say AEW would be his first choice because of Omega being his BFF. But I wouldn't count out the possibility of Kota Ibushi signing with WWE. He'll be in Los Angeles the same weekend.
He'll have the meeting.
And he's wrestled with WWE before. He's wrestled for WWE before in the Cruiserweight Classic. He has rapport with Triple H.
Kind of scared him away also, to be honest with you.
Well, that was Vince's WWE. This is different.
CWC was all Triple H. What are you talking about?
The Cruiserweight. Well, yeah, okay. Yes, that was. Okay. All right. So, where do you think Ibushi's going? What do you think Ibushi's doing?
Okay.
Go on.
What? Go on.
No.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think he's staying in Japan. I don't think he wants to live in America for an extended period of time. So that sort of puts him in a non-committal. That kind of puts him in a committed window in regards to signing with a North American pro wrestling company, and that can always change. He could always change his mind. It's fucking Kota Ibushi. He sticks Roman candles up his chest. But as far like he has a school, he clearly just wants to stay in Japan. He could work for DDT. He could work for Noah. There's other wrestling companies there. He could take the Suzuki route and just kind of go on a world tour and then come back. He could fucking work a West Coast show. He should work a West Coast show.
Hey, if he's gonna do GCW and I mean West Coast Pro, I think is the spot to be at in Northern California if we're going to do an independent show. Just saying.
I know. I'd be there day one. Let me know.
And also, he's taking care of his mother, right, over the past couple of years through many different things. Like he said, like he didn't want to leave Japan because he wanted to take care of his mother who battles depression. So, yeah, I agree.
There's a lot going against him if he were to sign with AEW, being the bloated roster, being like 5th on that list, or maybe 1st.
I mean, here's a couple of things. First off, he will for sure do a little bit of a tour. He's going to do a tour around the end of March, beginning with Mania weekend around America and the independent scene. He's going to do AEW. He's going to do, GCW. Yeah, he might do West Coast. Who knows? But after that, I agree.
What do you do what does he do in AEW? Does he because the obvious thing would be like with Kenny Omega, the obvious thing would be something involving him, but then Kenny Omega's kind of wrapped up in that whole trios thing. Like, so the one is he going to be
the one thing I was thinking? Yeah, here's the thing. The one thing I was thinking of because they were doing that Don Callis Takeshita thing is they were going to build Takeshita up as like this protege of Omega and kind of like we're best friends, and that's when Kota Ibushi walks and goes, oh, you guys are best friends,
or they're building up Takeshita as we have Ibushi at home, which let's be honest here.
I mean, he does do the Kamagoye.
I love Takeshita. He's an amazing wrestler.
Yeah. No, he's great. They're both.
Kota Ibushi's a once in a generation talent.
Yeah. So I agree. He'll probably stay. He's going to stay in Japan. If NXT does their expansion, who knows? Maybe he can lead the NXT Japan or WWE Japan expansion one day. So we shall see.
Do not threaten me with a good time, Korey.
Next up, let's take a look at what we got coming ahead this weekend, because SmackDown coming up this week. We're going to see the fallout from the Royal Rumble with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. It's not been announced, but
So,
yeah,
Royal Rumble.
yeah.
What'd you think of it? Just
I,
the final angle.
oh, it was
What'd you
great.
came off from it?
It was
Yeah,
great.
fantastic.
Yeah, I
How
loved
invested
it.
were you into it? Like,
Oh,
like,
I scared my girlfriend when I screamed when Jey Uso was like, "No, man,
oh, you
no."
screamed when the Jey Uso thing when he left. I
Yeah,
screamed when the fucking chair. Well, I didn't scream. I just thought like, oh, that big ass pop, big ass like they're doing shit here. This is definitely like extremely hot, especially for WWE standards. But
well, the angle feels as hot as, and I'm not saying Sami Zayn is on the same level as Daniel Bryan during the Yes movement, but the angle and the storyline feels as hot as that
I'm gonna
to
make
me.
an argument to think that it could be.
Yeah.
It could. No, nothing was more hostile and toxic than that whole entire era of wrestling. But that might not also be true. But my biggest question here was: Do you think? Do you think they should have followed up with that angle on Raw instead of Friday Night SmackDown? Because
Oh, you mean
there
instead
was
of
a
at the
ton of
Rumble?
momentum. Yeah, because there was a ton of momentum with that storyline, and I think you owe it to your audience to have a follow up as soon as possible. And I think you needed to have something big on Monday. And granted, that Monday show objective was to make sure that Cody Rhodes is at that level. Was
Yeah, they,
at that level and he belongs in that program. And he kind of mission more or less mission accomplished there. But just what do you think? Like having SmackDown be your A show, but the follow up of something happening on that Saturday, you have to wait almost a week for that follow up. I just think I think it kind of stifled momentum a little bit, or maybe I'm completely wrong and like SmackDown does like a monster fucking number
well, I
going
mean,
up to it.
the storyline has been
It's a
primarily
question to have.
on, yeah, the storyline has been primarily on SmackDown. So, I mean, you kind of want to give those fans the first kind of, access to that. They want to give them to want to see it first.
It's
I
the biggest storyline, and I think the biggest storyline should have a follow up like immediately after. That's what made the Sunday to Monday angles Sunday night pay per view to Monday Night Raw
Yeah.
so effective.
And I do
And
think they should have had some sort of Jimmy Uso Solo Sikoa match versus, just to kind of be like,
not even a match, just like something of a follow up because the Usos are on Monday Night Raw all the time.
yeah, oh, Jay's not here tonight. What's going on? Like, he's still not here. He, like I said earlier in the week when I was on with Jose, he has tweeted he's out of the bloodline. I mean, swerve, but,
Yeah.
we'll see. Then on Rampage, we're gonna see that that match we've all been looking forward to, the Elite versus the Firm for those trios, or I guess an eliminator match. I don't know. And then NXT Vengeance Day is this Saturday night, because I know everyone's looking forward to that.
I mean, 500,000 people can't be wrong.
So a lot of people were kind of criticizing Roxanne Perez's um, performance in the Rumble. What did you think, Michael?
Are you talking about her actual performance or her booking?
Her perforance, both. I
Because
mean, both.
I thought she was incredible. I thought she was impressive as hell. I thought she was like super ready out of everybody in out of everyone in that ring. I thought Roxanne Perez was like super crisp and ready. Just the fact that she lasted 4 minutes was the most damning part. Like,
Yeah.
what criticism did you hear of her? Like, the fact
just
that she was only there for 4 minutes.
I guess, yeah, people just talking about that and how that just made her look like complete, didn't make her look so good. And
that wasn't her fault. That was just the booking.
No, I know. I don't think that. I thought she looked great in the match, despite being in there for 4 minutes. So Roxanne Perez is
Then
defending.
who was criticizing?
Other podcasts. I'm not going to give them a shout out. Come on.
Okay.
Roxanne Perez.
The voices in your head.
Wait, what? What did you guys say? Roxanne Perez is going to defend her NXT Women's title against Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan.
That's right.
And
She's the
JCJ.
champion, dude.
She is.
Give her like 8 minutes. God.
At least 6.
Meet halfway.
So, I mean, whatever. We'll see what happens in this match. I don't see that title leaving her hands anytime soon.
Maybe she could lose it. She could get called up. You know, she was in the Rumble. I mean,
We can
even though they needed bodies in that Rumble, she could get
we can
just
do a
called up.
lay cool thing with the title. Like
Sure, why not?
have them
Yeah.
split the Apollo Crews versus Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams in a 2 out of 3 falls match. The clairvoyant Apollo Crews now. Have you seen any of that? Of those vignettes where he's just like seeing the future?
What is he like, Miss Cleo?
No, but that would be great. No, he's just like
How is that not a gimmick yet? Is it?
I
Has it
think
been?
it may be not okay in 2023 to do the Miss
For a
Cleo
Miss
thing.
Cleo gimmick, they made a documentary about her recently on HBO Max. I gotta watch that. But
Oh, well then that ends this podcast. I'm gonna go watch it right now.
it's on in the background right now. Like
Wait.
Awesome versus now. Go ahead.
No, that's just random generic wrestling. It doesn't need to be paid for.
Hey, that's all Japan, brother.
That's royaltyfreewrestling.com. That might actually be a website. No
I mean,
shout
it's
out
blurred, so you know won't happen. It's also on YouTube. Like
to them.
Wild
We
West.
did just get a claim last week from WWE, but
Fucking Giant Baba's ghost is gonna just make a copyright claim. Ooh, Korey.
click. Let's see. Yeah, Carmelo Hayes. He's probably, I think, one of the best performers there in NXT
Yeah, it's pretty
right
good.
now. He's fucking great.
That's it. That's all I can say about most of these NXT performers. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Oh, you can't. What do you say about Katana Chance and Kaden Carter? I mean,
I'll give her a chance.
there you go. Because they're defending their NXT women's titles against Fallon Henley and Kiana James.
Shout outs to the Filipinos. Caden Carter. Wait, Caden Carter is the Filipino one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout outs to the Filipinos.
Yeah. Katana Chance is what's it? Casey Catanzaro.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Shows
Next,
how much I know.
The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are going to defend their NXT tag team titles in a fatal 4-way match against Gallus, Pretty Deadly, and Chase University, the team of Andre Chase and Duke Hudson, with Thea Hale in their corner. But I mean, I see this for a big way for Gallus to win those titles, put them on top. They just came back.
Oh yeah, no, those the fresh faced team of Gallus. Ain't nobody. Everyone cares about them. They have a ton of momentum heading their way.
Oh, okay. The
Fucking
people who have
Joe
the most
Coffey.
the people who have the people who have the most momentum going into this is Chase University. Andre Chase. I mean, I've grown to love Andre Chase. I don't know. It's something about the whole gimmick. It's great. It's fun. You could have seen the genius Lanny Poffo attend or do a special lecture at Chase University. That's how much I love this, you know?
Yeah.
It's very of that era.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining. I think Andre Chase is actually pretty all right.
Wes Lee is set to defend his NXT North American title against Dijak, who lately
and his sunglasses.
So he's a villain from like an early 90s action film, right?
He's the Terminator. He's basically the Terminator.
Like he is like Hans Gruber's right-hand man.
Actually, let me take another look.
Of Dijak with his long jacket and sunglasses. Yeah, but you're right, Terminator.
Oh my god.
We can go with that.
He looks like cosplay. He looks like fucking cosplay Braun Steiner.
Braun Steiner?
Yeah.
Who's Braun Steiner?
Braun Breaker, I mean.
Oh. Wait, Dijak?
Yeah, I see shades. Do you want me to just make another image right now?
No, it's fine. You send me the image afterwards and I'll just put it right up on the screen. And then we have the main event, Braun Breaker defending his NXT championship against Grayson Waller in a steel cage match. I mean, they could be bringing Braun up to the main roster at this point. You're talking about Roxanne Perez. You think too early?
Too early. Post Rumble, and I think Triple H knows this. Post Rumble is when you really, really don't want to bring somebody up because everybody's too tied up into their WrestleMania storylines to call somebody up right now just for them to get lost in the shuffle in that regard. I don't recommend it.
So
I don't recommend calling up anybody right now. Maybe after Romania, but not now.
So here's the thing though, you mentioned that, but then, we did see a lot of moves on Monday Night Raw this week. Rick Boogs. Okay, I see the Braun Breaker. I see the Braun Breaker-esque right there. He is very angry that Dijak. But
You stole my beard.
we have what is it? Boogs coming over to Raw, returning from injury. Why would
That's
he return?
Boogs.
Yeah,
That's Boogs.
Who's like the swollen Freddie Mercury of the WWE roster.
He's look at Dijak judging your take right now. It's like, what is this guy talking about?
I'm sorry, Dijak. I truly am. Anyway,
say it. Repeat. Say sorry again.
I'm sorry, Dijak. I'm sorry.
All right. Say goodbye to Dijak, everybody.
Bye, Dijak. Bye.
It's the last time it'll happen. I swear, Korey.
Well, I mean, we're pretty much done with the show at this point. So, if you wanted to extend it, you could. But yeah, no. So NXT.
I don't want anything extended in regards to Dijak.
NXT Vengeance Day this Saturday night. Jose and I will have the full rapport on Monday morning. So yeah, that about does it here with us. You have anything you want to add before we get out of here, Michael?
We are about literally a month away from being in an AEW show.
Yes, we are. I'm very excited. I'm about to put in my time off request.
I already did. Way ahead of you.
4 or 5 days. And
I basically just told them first week of March, I'm not here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm we'll see what happens when we get there because
what do you think the Dynamite card's going to be?
The Dynamite card or the Revolution card, you mean, right?
Well, we already know the Revolution card is going on, but Dynamite seems to be a little bit more spontaneous by the week. So we're not going to I feel like it's the go home Dynamite. You don't want to risk any actual injuries from your top stars. Like, you don't want MJF wrestling a match. You're probably
You'll have Hobbs.
Hobbs wrestling a match. You'll have I think you'll have Jungle Boy.
Yeah, you kind of have to have those guys.
You're gonna have to have the West Coast, the APW alumni.
Yeah.
Could have been Carl Fredericks.
Well,
you think could have been Cobb.
Cobb could show up. That would be nice if Cobb showed up, just for the sake of it.
I mean, California people. I think the Bucks are gonna wrestle. You think? I mean, they're not exactly NorCal scene, but
you know how many times the Bucks have actually wrestled in the Bay Area? I think
Levi Shapiro is gonna be in an episode of Dark.
Yes, I do definitely see it because he's already wrestled for.
You think Vinny Massaro is gonna be in an episode of Dark?
Yes, I definitely think they will all be there, and on the episode of Dark or Dark Elevation.
I mean, wasn't Levi Shapiro actually on an episode of Dark before?
I think so. Yeah.
Well,
I think that about does it here for us today.
Yeah. City Wrestling Radio.
Let's get out of here. For City Wrestling Radio, I'm Korey Smith.
Yeah, I'm Michael Vergara.
And we'll see you. I'll see you on, like I said, later in the week with Jose. We talk about Vengeance Day and whatever else happens in fucking news. And then you and I will be back next week.
Thursday. We'll see you.
All right, guys. See ya. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Bye. Guys, if you do like City Wrestling Radio, please take a moment to stroke our fragile egos and click the like and subscribe and even possibly the share button. We really do appreciate it. It does help out the show. And hey, the bigger we get, the more news you got coming down. So help us help you. All right. Like, share, subscribe, click it down below. Thank you.